This is Stephen Green with tonight's virtual Bible study. Some topics are right in our own backyard, and some topics are many miles away. I hope today that we find ourselves in the same yard as the topic tonight. Are you a Matthew 25 Christian? In Matthew 25, the big celestial event is on. Jesus has his angels. He's seated in his magnificent throne, and he has people sitting with him on his left and on his right. Okay, the first address is to the people that are on his right. But today, the world has not yet come to that point of final judgment. The world is full of hurting people. Okay, people hurt. There's hunger. There's thirst. Some are abandoned. Some are poorly clothed. Some are sick. And some are in prison. These are tragedies. Is there a plan for hurting people? I know it would be in some people's mind that God needs to do a plan for these people. But as with many things that are necessary, we are the people that have a need to supply the need. Those that are hungry, those that are thirsty, those that are abandoned, those that are poorly clothed, those that are sick, and those that are in prison represent a lot of life's problems. What we need to do is to solve problems. And how are these problems to be solved? Well, in Matthew 25, Jesus takes these problems on in a personal fashion. When people hurt, when people are hungry, when people are thirsty, when people are abandoned, when people are poorly clothed, when they're sick and in prison, it's as if he was in that condition. And the response that we give to these hurting people, he credits to himself. Well, Matthew 25:40 says, "And the king will answer them, I tell you the truth, just as you did it for one of the least of these brothers or sisters of mine, you did it for me." Okay, one is not a very large number. One event in a lifetime is not a very large number. But if you do it for one of the least of these, Jesus says that you did it for me. Imagine if someone is hungry and you feed them, that it's feeding Jesus. Imagine if you see someone that's thirsty and you give them something to drink. Imagine that you're giving drink to Jesus. When you see people abandoned, forlorn, no place to go, and you take them in, you're taking Jesus in. When someone is poorly clothed and you help them with your clothing, you're helping Jesus. When the sick have no place to turn, believers are supposed to help them. When people are in prison, believers are supposed to help them. Well, I do know that on that celestial day, when the judgment comes down, I want to be sitting on the right. I want to be a Matthew 25 Christian. I want to help people. I want to be a part of the solution and not part of the problem. If you're part of the solution, it may take some of your time. It may take some of your energy. It may take some of your money. It may take effort, but it's worth it. How do you want Jesus to be treated? It is certain that Jesus will appreciate it on that final day when he says, "You did it for me." How nice to hear Jesus call your name and said, when Jesus says, "I was thirsty, I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was abandoned and poorly clothed, and you gave me a place to stay and gave me clothing. I was sick, and you visited me, and I was in prison, and you visited me. And we would honestly say, well, Jesus, when did we ever do that for you? And of course, the answer is, just as you did it for one of the least of these brothers or sisters of mine, you did it for me. You know, it is not a very hard task to find one hurting person and help them in a lifetime. I'm sure many people do much more and some people do much less. But it's a terrible thing if we never help anybody. Can there be people that live a lifetime and never help hurting people? Matthew 25:45 says, "Then he will answer them," those that are on his left, "I tell you the truth, just as you did not do it for one of the least of these, you did not do it for me." Again, it's for one. How are we going to live our lives? Are we going to live our lives for ourselves only, or are we going to take the time to help those that hurt? There are people, it's a tragedy, that will be sitting on the left-hand side that never helped a hurting person in these conditions. And it would be a terrible, terrible injunction against us if Jesus were to come to us and say, "You did not help me. You did not help me." We should do things for hurting people. The more that we do, the better this world is going to be. And we are the representatives of Christ on the earth. How do we want the world to be run? Instead of blaming God for the problems, we are the solutions. We come to help. How many ways can we help? I know that if we help our own family, we're doing a good thing. Some people branch out to people beyond their own family and help them. This is what we desire to do. This is what we desire to do. We want to solve the solution. We want to come up with the answer, and the answer is people shouldn't hurt and we can help. The next time you have an opportunity to help someone that is hurting, what will you do? Will you be inactive and allow things just to go as they are? Or will you have a plan in place to help someone that hurts? The answers are available to us. We have been empowered to help. We have been empowered to make a difference. I know that many people have their own lives and they have their own problems and they have their own concerns. But if we don't look up around us to the others that are in the world with us, our vision is too short. What we see is not far enough. It is a good thing to provide for your own family. It is a good thing to help your friends. But there are certain things that we can do for the hurting people in the world. If we practice, we will be rewarded, because Jesus has a great reward in heaven for those that do his will. So if we look at Matthew 25:40, Jesus is saying, I tell you the truth, that just as you did it for one, you've done it for me. And that is such a low threshold. We can help one. The problem is Matthew 25:45, when it says, I tell you the truth, just as you did not do it for one of the least of these, you did not do it for me. They did not help even one person. That's a horrible thing. That's a horrible thing. That's a horrible testimony. I desire that I can help. There are many things that I can do, that I try to help people. And I know if we all work together, we can get the job done. Is there someone you know that is hurting? Maybe we can have a plan for them. But if you've ever been hungry, if you've ever been thirsty, if you've ever been abandoned, if you've ever been poorly clothed or sick or in prison, these are desperate times. I know that we've had a pandemic, and I know that many people have had COVID, and I know many people have been hospitalized, and I know some people did not come out of that hospital in as good a condition as they would have wanted. People hurt. People hurt. There are many things that we can do. On the day when we have an opportunity to be on the right hand of Jesus, that's the place to be. We don't want to be on the left hand, not having helped anyone. I hope you take to thought these verses and make a plan to be a part of the solution to what hurts in the world.